Alright, here we are. It's the final WrestleDiary for New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax 27 tournament. I kind of wish I'd gone all out with this video and I could have done like my top 10 favorite matches of the tournament or something like that, but I feel like I've kind of spammed my channel enough with these videos, so we're just going to wrap up here with the final match. I didn't watch any of the other matches on the final day. They were all tag matches and I wasn't too interested in them. I'm sure there's some good stuff, but after everything, after watching 91 wrestling matches in a few weeks, I feel like I just wanted to get to the final. So before we get to that, there was another big moment on the final night of G1, and that was a segment with Katsuyori Shibata. Again, like the Nagata kind of final G1 match, this was an emotional moment. I almost cried. You know, it was... You can't really put into words how it feels to see something like that. Shibata was a guy who, if you're unaware, or even if you are, you know, he had his final match with Okada in April, I think, of this year. Headbutted Okada in the match. They'd been going for like 30 plus minutes, dehydrated, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back. That he had a brain issue. He was taken to the hospital. He went blind for a period. Had paralysis in like the left part of his body, as far as I'm aware. I mean, either way, even if I'm not being accurate to what happened, like, things were pretty rough. It seemed like it would be a struggle for him to walk again. There was no guarantee that he was going to be fully okay after that, and we still don't know the full effects of everything, but you know, it was just absolutely devastating to hear that after watching that match, which was so great, that a guy who loves wrestling so much probably can't do it anymore. So he came out at the G1, and you know, there's people in the crowd crying their eyes out, and he gets in the ring, takes a bump, and then sits up cross-legged like he used to do, and you know, tears in his eyes, smile on his face, and he said, what I read afterwards was, "I am alive, that is all," you know, just, I'm here, you know. Heavy, it's real heavy, you know, when someone goes through something like that and they're able to come out on their own terms and just kind of give the fans that moment, but more importantly give themselves that moment. And you can really read into that as him taking that bump in the ring as, I'm going to come back to this, you know, I'm not done bumping yet. Or you could see it as, you know, him going out on his own terms. Right, that's my last bump, you know, and I'm the one to make that last bump and to make that decision, you know. I heard he had some surgery, like experimental stuff. There was a hole drilled into his head. So I mean, this guy, what a year he's had so far, and I think that it was just so damn cool to see. No matter what happens, I kind of hope he doesn't wrestle again and risks anything, but you know, Japanese, they love their kind of work ethic, so I'm kind of worried. But it was, again, one of those moments you'll never forget, I think, as a wrestling fan. And I've only seen him wrestle in that one match, so I don't even have like the years of fandom that so many other people have. I mean, this must have ruined people who are such big fans of him. I became a big fan just from one match, so yeah. Anyway, the main event, the finals of G1, Kenny Omega versus Tetsuya Naito. I mean, Kenny Omega had just had the epic Okada match from the night before, and it wasn't even like 24 hours, it was less than 24 hours before. And he goes out again and has this incredible match, and this is one of the best matches I have ever seen. For me, it blew the Okada match out of the water. I mean, stunning. Just, I mean, there were so many moments in this match. I made like very unmanly noises throughout this match. I mean, some of the spots they did were absolutely jaw-dropping. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was worrying for both of their lives. I was so drawn into this epic final conclusion to this huge tournament that's had so many great matches, and both these guys have had such grueling matches, and still they went out and put on this absolute classic. For me, it was, I just couldn't believe my eyes, and again, it made me feel like such a kid again. And halfway through the match, Connie was like, ugh, and she kept sighing. I'm like, what's the matter? This is great. And she's like, no, it's great, but she just said, thinking about it, WWE isn't even half as good as this. It really kind of gave her a reality check as to how watered down WWE really is. And I'm still going to always love WWE, don't get me wrong, but you know, a week away from SummerSlam, I could give two shits. I couldn't care less about SummerSlam. I never thought I'm always hyped for SummerSlam. It's SummerSlam, but I mean, this doesn't hold a candle to the stuff they did in the G1. I mean, that was just, I mean, you can argue that they're being risky and they're taking too many big bumps, but it was incredible. It was the perfect capping off point to one of the best wrestling experiences I've ever had as a fan watching wrestling, you know. Maybe even I don't know, it just, if you take nostalgia out of it, it might be the best wrestling, you know, show I've ever seen, all told. And how fitting that the two best matches were the two last ones, you know, in the tournament at least, with Okada and Omega and Naito. They just had, I mean, Naito hit that Destino about 3 times, and I was like, that's it. Like, there was just no way Kenny's kicking out. I mean, it's just the way it was built up, the way that I've been programmed to receive things as a wrestling fan, and as a former wrestler, kind of knowing some of the ins and outs. And he kicked out, and I just lost my I couldn't believe it. I mean, it turns out he got up and just hit it again and pinned him, but when you can get someone like me, who's kind of seen so much, and is accustomed and immune and desensitized to so much, when you can get someone like me to just proper pop for something like that I just would never have expected him to kick out on, you know, that's, and you can argue maybe it's spamming finishers too much, but this match was so much more than just finisher. You know, there was different moves, and there was a different flavor to it, and the, you know, the kind of both the characters working off each other, you know, and of course Naito wins, and absolutely a 5-star match for me. This, I'd probably go ahead and, you know, give it the old Meltzer 6-star out of 5. I thought that, and I do that with movies, you know, like 10 out of 10, or if it's like 7 Samurai, it's like an 11 out of 10. This would be a 6 out of 5 for me. Unbelievable match. I can't wait to watch it again. The spot on the post scared the shit out of me. The fucking powerbomb reversal off the top rope. And again, this match is so much more than just the big moments, and it draws you into the drama of these two guys and everything they've been through, everything they're fighting for, everything they're trying to achieve in New Japan to get that title shot for Wrestle Kingdom. You know, Kenny Omega's just beaten Okada. You know, he's seconds away from beating Naito and getting to go to Wrestle Kingdom 12 and to prove once and for all he's the man and to win the title, and he just doesn't make it, you know. And Naito, I don't know his story too much, but Naito and Okada seems like a perfect main event for Wrestle Kingdom 12. So yeah, and the crowd were just immense for this match, and they both love Naito and Kenny. Naito quite a bit more. He's so over, he's so popular. It was no surprise to me that he won, but they took us in a hell of a ride and told us a hell of a story on the way to that inevitable conclusion of Naito winning. So yeah, that's it. Some of my favorite matches of the tournament would be Naito and Omega, Okada and Omega. After that, probably Nagata and Ishii was one of my favorites. Elgin and Okada. Tanahashi and Nagata was a great one. Yeah, those are the ones that stand out really when I think about the G1, I suppose. I mean, there's been so many of them. You get kind of, you know, it all kind of blends in as one. But I guess Nagata and Ishii, Tanahashi and Nagata, Elgin and Okada for sure. The Suzuki Okada match was fantastic as well, and Tanahashi and Naito, I think. So, oh, and Naito Ishii was one of my favorites as well. That match was fantastic. I had kind of a quarter of the feeling I had watching the final, just that kind of, oh my god, you know, kind of excitement. So, in fact, I'd probably rate that near the top, like maybe my 3rd, 4th favorite match of the whole thing. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. You know, I could ramble on for ages, so suffice it to say, this changes everything for me as a wrestling fan, and I'm now a New Japan fan for life. No looking back. You know, again, I'll still watch WWE, but my eyes have been opened, and I can be more happy about it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause